You know, when I joined politics for two main reasons. One, to fight race-based politics. Two, to fight corruption. I want to talk about race-based politics. Teresa mentioned just now about how I'm a mother of two young daughters. My first child is turning 2 next month. My second baby is only 2 months old. Okay? Actually, from February 18 till now, after I gave birth to her, I think I hardly slept. Because when I finish work, I go home. My baby is awake. She stays up from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. daily. So when I finish campaign after Ceramah or 12 midnight, I go home, I rest for a while, wash bottles and the rest. Then it's time to look after the baby. So she stays up from 2 to 6. And 6 a.m., I have a short nap before my first child wakes up at 8 a.m. And then my walkabout starts again with Wong Chen. 7 a.m. we are out. That's why sometimes our hair is not proper. Everybody say, you look so tan, you look so old already, Hannah. Yo, how not to be old? Because we really work, you know. We don't go travel. I don't take your funds to go holiday, one Malaysia, cuti. I don't do all these kind of things. I really work, you know. So I hope after 5th of May, I know some of you all will be rejoicing, but for me, I really just want one proper sleep. I just want to sleep, you know, because I have been going on for months, 2 months now. But what sustained me is this: when Malaysians, without any goodies, come forward at night, stand on their feet for hours, pursuing truth, hungry for justice. You know, you are waiting, desperately waiting to cast your vote. Some of you casting vote for the first time on this coming 5th of May. This inspires me to keep going. So race-based politics, I was talking about a girl. You know, when I gave birth to my first child, all of you know that my husband and I, with my newborn, we drove to Putrajaya. The pantang time not even over yet. We went to Putrajaya. We attempted to register my first child, as Anak Malaysia. You know, I call up Haris Ibrahim. I say, Haris, I don't want to just talk about fighting race-based politics. I want to walk the talk. You know, I don't want to come out openly before people and say, you know, I am a Malaysian first, I champion all your rights, but at home I'm a racist. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure I walk the talk. So we went up to fill up the form. Race of the child, we wrote that Anak Malaysia, after getting advice from Saya Anak Bangsa Malaysia NGO. And so the officer looked at it, and then he just kept quiet. So we said, okay lah, good lah, this one sure will go through. Printed out the draft, China. Then we say, no, we signed a declaration to say that everything we declare here is true. We wrote that Anak Malaysia. They say, well, the system is incapable of registering Anak Malaysia. You only have two options, China or India. So I look at my husband looked at me, we say, we are not going to sit here and argue whether the child should be China or India, because if we do that, we are again being a racist lah. Okay, we are back to race-based. We say, no, we want Anak Malaysia. They say, sorry Puan, then how about Dan Lain? Cannot, because you are not Dan Lain, they say. Then we say, leave it empty. I don't want any race to be stated. Tak boleh, system is incapable. Kita mesti print satu. Okay? Then we say, suka hatilah you nak letak apa-apa. Okay lah, so they printed China. So my first child is China. And then Wan Eng and Kapal came out. Nurul Izzan, the rest, they issued statement to support us. They say, yes, this is the way we want to move forward. We must start behaving like Malaysians. Okay? Give the parents the right. If they don't want to write anything there, don't leave it open. If they want Anak Malaysia, let it be Anak Malaysia. Then reporters started asking our Home Minister, Hisham Mudin, what do you think? Can or not write Anak Malaysia? He said, well, they can appeal, but whether or not can write Anak Malaysia, I have to study the constitution first, the Home Minister said. So both of us say, okay, they say appeal, better write an appeal letter. So we wrote an appeal letter. My husband hand-delivered Putrajaya to make sure it's sent to the Prime Minister, sent to the NRD, National Registration Department, and sent to the Home Minister's office. My daughter is turning 2 next month. I have not heard, not even one single reply from them. No news. It takes 2 years for a Home Minister to study the Constitution. Let me tell you, vote in a more competent Home Minister. What happened after after that, UMNO cyber troopers started blogging about my daughter. Now when I Google my daughter's name, all are bad articles about her. So when she turns 18 or 16, I probably have to sit down with her and explain to her that mommy did this in her best interest and also for the interest of the coming generation in Malaysia. That Zulkifli Nordin wrote a nasty article about my daughter. He has nothing to do with this, you know. But because he's a racist, he has to write a posting like that. Okay? And so people started condemning me, you know, even friends. Some friends don't understand why we do this. See, when you want to walk the talk, sometimes when you want to stand up for your conviction, it will cost you something. For me, it cost me. It cost me some friendships. Some people criticize me. They say, you are not a submissive wife. You are ashamed of your husband's race. You are a racist. You are not proud to have married an Indian. All these nasty things, some coming from friends. And so I went through a slight period of discouragement when I was going through confinement for my first round. My husband and I, we struggled at home to think, you know, did we do the right things? You know, why so many nasty things said about my daughter? Of course, then we have friends who came along. Saya Anak Bangsa Malaysia stood firm with us. A lot of young people stood firm and say, you know, this is the way to go forward. You know, don't be discouraged. And so I was very encouraged then. And I know that, you know, when I look back in history, I would be at least one Malaysian who would have stood up against UMNO and say, enough with your race-based politics. I want our kids to be known as Malaysian. Our second one, my husband went to Putrajaya, my baby. This time, guess what? They have removed the column from the form. You cannot even fill up anymore. They don't give you the option. Immediately they printed out India. So I have one Chinese girl, one Indian girl at home. Both from the same parents. See, Putrajaya spent millions on a system that is inaccurate. You want to talk about identification purpose, you know, NRD is their National Registration Department. You are there to register citizenship, you know, to register all this, to make sure that the data that you give out is accurate. What is this? One family, one Chinese, one Indian. Huh? Uba, that's right, Uba, enough, it's enough. So friends, I plead with you, you know, start thinking as Malaysians. Start moving forward. Start moving forward. This is all politics by Barisan Nasional to always make you think along racial lines that you are Chinese, you must fight for Chinese schools. If you are Indian, you must fight for Indian rights. If you are Malay, you must fight for Ketuanan Melayu, you know. Start thinking as Malaysian. You know, when I do my work as the Adun of Subang Jaya, I don't think like a Chinese or Indian. No. I think I'm Adun for all. Whether you are UMNO member or DAP member, I have to serve you. Some Chinese say I'm not China enough because I cannot speak Mandarin. Okay? And then Indians say my husband is not Indian enough. Okay? So, you know, you can never be too Chinese or too Indian. That's why I say all this must stop. All this must stop. You know, we have dengue cases everywhere. We have sicknesses that, you know, hit Malaysians. Hey, mosquitoes don't care, you know, whether you're Malay, Chinese, Indian. You got blood, they suck. Okay? What hurts my Malay brothers will hurt me also. So friends, move forward. This time, send a strong message to MCA that you reject Chinese representation, you reject Malay representation, Indian representation. You will elect any party, these three parties who will fight for all. Secondly, on corruption. Now, when I remember my first ceramah, they hit me, they said, you are young, you have no experience. Okay? I stood before the people of Subang Jaya 5 years ago and I said, I'm young, I have no experience, but I am clean. You remember that? Well, friends, I have news for you. 5 years later, I'm still young. I have 5 years of experience and I'm still clean. And I promise you, my assistant said just now, whatever I cannot promise you, I won't do. But I promise you, I dare say, if given another mandate to be your state assemblyman, I will do everything I can to make sure I stay clean. will not touch your taxpayers' money. You know that I have money sitting under the state government approved for the Adun of Subang Jaya to use, but I don't use that. You know, they say, you know, you can use 300,000 out of 500,000 before election for programs. I say no, you know, it's not prudent because we have the whole year to go and residents need this money. What if I'm not elected? That money still needs to go back to the people. So I refuse to use those money until I'm properly elected. Yeah, okay? MACC is not for us, we all know that. Teo Beng Hock died as a witness for a 2,000 ringgit claim. So I'm very certain that if the Selangor government was corrupt, MACC would have moved in a lot earlier. Okay, the fact that they have not shows to you one thing, that the administration under Pakatan Rakyat, under the leadership of Tan Sri Khalid, is way cleaner than K. Toyo's administration. Under our time, just very recently, we exposed 2 land scandals, one involving Subang Jaya, one involving the entire state. Barisan Nasional given 24 plot of commercial land at 1 ringgit per square foot. Okay, they claim in the State Assembly that this is actually for the rakyat. These lands were used for the rakyat. But when we went on site visit, we found out that they have entered into joint ventures with developers. They have built private condominium. They have made millions. Okay, these are all your money, you know, but all into their pockets now. So I challenge MCA, if you want to come and run here in Subang Jaya, you better explain to the people first, where have you taken all this money? Return all that money first, then go and campaign. Then you have the face to go and campaign to Subang Jaya people. Secondly, we exposed just last January, just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we exposed the land scandal in USJ3. 99 pieces of bungalow land given to BN politicians at 2 ringgit per square feet. One plot of bungalow land, 5,000 square feet, they only pay premium of 8,000 ringgit or 10,000 ringgit only. Okay, these were all given to MCA politicians from MCA Kelana Jaya. In fact, one of them, Yap Yun Fat, MCA councillor then, okay, interviewed by Malaysia Kini, he said, I'm only a small fly. Go after the bigger ones. Don't ask me, no comment. I see photograph of our MCA candidate campaigning. He is following the MCA candidate everywhere. Hey, if you see them, please ask them, what happened to the bungalow land? How much money have you profited? Return back to the people, then come out and campaign. If you are a voter in Seri Setia, your former Adun, Sharifah Noli, who was then also a state exco, also given a plot of land. No comment. State exco, given state land, Ketua Wanita UMNO or something like that in Selangor. Then the other big fish that we exposed, Tan Sri Megat Najmuddin. When I gave the list, the names, I highlighted some of these names to the reporter. The reporter called me back after our press conference and said, Hannah, this Tan Sri Megat Najmuddin now sits on the MACC advisory board. How? So I say, ask him lah, ask him. So they called him. Selangor Times managed to speak to him. He said, nothing wrong what? I applied, I got that land. Nothing wrong lah. Everything is not wrong in Barisan Nasional's eyes, I tell you. Okay, but to us, morally, that is wrong. Morally, that is wrong because that is abuse of power. Another MCA member, when interviewed by Sina Hairan, he said, apa salahnya kerajaan Barisan Nasional prihatin? Bukan macam Pakatan Rakyat. Okay? If you want to give free land, you give to the poor. BN politicians are filthy rich. They have no right to take cheap lands from the state government. I have good news for you. Under the leadership of Tan Sri Khalid, he has stopped giving out lands to politicians or political parties. In fact, a motion was passed in the State Assembly to make sure that this becomes law. Okay? No more. So if re-elected, I will do my best to continue to fight, not just for the people of Subang Jaya, but also for the people of Selangor. I will do my part in the State Assembly to make sure that we fight corruption until the very end.